Okay, brothers, let's settle down. We'll carry on. Can we go? I'll get it right as the end. Brother George Johnson, Region 6, please.
Can everybody hear me? Worthy Supreme Knight, my Lord Bishop, brothers. You might find my report slightly more easier to find if you look for the map. It's got a map in it. Firstly, you'll see a brief piece there about what is covered by currently Province 10, which is linked directly to the Diocese of Brentwood. Congratulations to them for the Surrey Shield. And also the recruitment efforts that have been made there over the past year, because alongside seeing most councils having new men enter the order, they have also successfully raised a council in Wanstead. If you turn over the page, you'll find that we've got a little bit of information there about the Diocese of East Anglia and Province 27 East Anglia. It was hard to find a diocesan map that was the same geographical layout, but on here we've got a picture of where every single parish church is within that diocese, and you can see just how large an area between the two provinces they actually cover. And congratulations to them, because their work on youth is fantastic, and they've run, as we've just seen, the Madonna Oaks trophy. It says there that total number of brothers, I believe it stands at 46, although Jason's going to shake his head. 50? 55 brothers now, okay? So well done on them as well for the recruitment efforts that they've gone to. There is an amendment to the report, which is the part on the merger of provinces, because after submitting this report, there was a meeting held on the 20th of September with the Supreme Knight, and that was an open meeting to both provinces where the merger was essentially unblocked. And we've managed to go forward with a fantastic level of fraternity between both Brother Liam and Brother Jason, working together on a plan to merge the two provinces over the next few months in the run-up to April, and both of those brothers should be commended for that. You'll see in there as well how the relic tour went across the region. We tried to be as fair and as even-handed as we could, because obviously with only 15 days to actually travel the relics over essentially 4 counties, that's not a huge amount of time, particularly when you factor in the idea of part of that including East London, and the traffic can add its own complications. Some of the highlights included liaising and working with our Anglican brothers to utilise the chapel that was built in 653 AD by Saint Ced, a student of Saint Aidan of Iona, who himself was a student of Saint Columba. There was also the initiation of new members and elevation to full knighthood at Lowestoft, and also we managed to get the relics not just at Brentwood Cathedral but also at Norwich Cathedral as well. I'm really grateful actually to Brother Sean and the Supreme Knight for allowing me to work on the social media and other materials for it. And then to Brother Danny for letting us put together some of the Make a Difference materials to follow on with that, which has actually started to see some results in some areas. Yeah, my report's there if anybody's got any questions and would like to read it any further. Worthy Supreme Knight, brothers.
Thank you, Brother George. Province 10 and Province 27, would you like to? Are you from Province 10, brother?
No, really. I just want to, on the report, I just want to comment on the membership in the last paragraph.
Okay, come up. You remember I'm deaf.
Worthy Supreme, Lord Bishop, brothers, you comment on online membership. Sorry? Oh, sorry. Solomon Izobi, Provincial Granite, Province 34. Your comment on membership online. I have received from membership, Supreme Director. Couple of membership brothers, applying online. So I'm surprised that, it's mentioned in the fact that it hasn't been implemented.
Sorry, brother, I think you're at cross purposes there. The online that you've received from Brother Danny are people who have applied online and actually made it. The online, and I'm sure Brother George will correct me if I'm wrong, was the idea of having brothers actually join the order and be members online.
Online, I see.
It was totally a different thing from that.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, brothers?
Yeah, thank you.
Brothers, can we adopt Brother George's report, please? And again, once again, Brother George, Brother Andrew will be taking your place after this weekend. I would like to thank you for the 2 years that you've served as a regional director. You will hopefully get, the directors that are demitting office will hopefully get time at the end of the Supreme Council to say their thank yous and their farewells. Okay? Could I ask Brother Rosario, Region 7, please?
With the Supreme Knight, your Lord Bishop, brothers, I already sent a report out to you, and I can see in the first item that Province 11 was the worst culprit in the order for the death. And I took on myself to have a meeting with the Provincial Grand Knight, and we had the Supreme Knight and the immediate past Supreme Knight attend the meeting as well. And that has been resolved, and I think all but one council's money has not come in yet. I'm going to add to that is, on the 5th of June, the Board of Directors agreed to merge some provinces. My Region 7, which is the Westminster North, Westminster Central, and Westminster Western provinces, to merge to one as Province 41. A couple of weeks later, I called for the 3 provincial Grand Knights on a Zoom meeting to let them know what was decided. I was expecting some kind of revolt, but to my surprise, they approved it with open arms. I told them that we need to start the process electing the officers of the new province in good time. I gave them the end of July to have their nominations in. Once nomination received, gave them nominated brothers 2 weeks to send in their CVs. We received some very good CVs. Once the CVs were received, I sent them up to the Provincial Grand Knight to circulate to their councils to discuss at their monthly meeting. I gave them till the 2nd of September. On 2nd of September, I arranged a Zoom meeting so the brothers could meet whom they were voting for and ask them questions. And that went very well. I think very well over 30 plus brothers on the Zoom. Then gave the councils a deadline, the 29th of September, as to when I should receive their votes. All the votes were received, and the votes were sent to me, to the Supreme Knight, as well as to the own PGKs, so as to be fair. All the votes were received in time, and hence the officers were all elected and ready to take office of Province 41 in April. Now we need to work on other small items like the finance and other bits that could go in there. That's my report with the Grand Knight.
Thank you, Brother Rosario. Does any of the Westminster provinces want to ask any questions on that? Or? Can I just say, brothers, that I'd like to thank the brothers in the Westminster provinces and Brother Rosario for taking on board the regional amalgamations. It was wonderful to see the way that the brothers actually did it. And Rosario, you have to be commended for your work in that, so thank you. So can we adopt Brother Rosario's report, please? Thank you, brothers. Brother John Campolini, Region 8. You can just time yourself as you're coming up, John.
1 minute.
Too long.
Time.
Worthy Supreme Knight, Lord Bishop, distinguished guests, brothers. The timer's off. It's on my desk. Brothers, my report for Region 8 is lost somewhere in all the pages which are unnumbered in the paperwork you have, and I'm sure you've read. I covered, as the regional director, provinces 12, 34 and 39. 12 being the largest in area and number of brothers, 34 second with number of brothers in area, and 39 with one council in the province. Because I announced some time ago I was standing down, a ballot had to be put in place for my successor, and we received 2 nominations, one from province 34 and one from province 12. And after due diligence, with the votes that had been cast being examined in the presence of a parish priest, the candidate from province 12, Brother Melvin Carty, was declared the winner, and he will be taking over from me tomorrow at the Mass in the Cathedral. And I offer him my sincere congratulations, encouragement, and any help he may need. Province 12 has continued to get on with the work it does in a fairly efficient manner. Fairly, because there's always 1 or 2 councils who want to either do it their own way or think they know better. But with goodwill throughout the 3 areas that I've covered, the 3 provinces, we've managed to establish good working relationship. I've spoken regularly to my own provincial Grand Knight in Province 12 and to Brother Solomon from 34, who we've met and spoken on the phone. I've been very lucky and privileged to have an area with 2 big provinces and 1 smaller one, to be able to report at this meeting that we've never had any dissension. We've all been singing from the same hymn sheet with the same requirement that we seek new members for our order. I'm delighted to say that, as far as I'm concerned, the other 2 may object or say, no, got it wrong, but as far as I'm concerned, it's worked well. And I thank all the brothers in those provinces who have assisted me. And I also have to thank Brother Danny, who's kept me informed about Jersey Council. It's got to be careful what I say here. It's been difficult at times getting information, but once I said to Danny, I'm relying on you to keep me posted. It's worked quite well. So thank you, Brother Danny. It really leaves me with little more to say, brothers, except thank you to all the brothers who have assisted me. If I've upset anybody, I'm terribly sorry, but that's the way I am. I say it as it is, and it generally doesn't leave any room for misunderstanding. But at the end of the day, we're brothers. We have a duty to look after each other and our families, our widows especially, which were mentioned earlier. And the biggest promise we can make today and every morning when you say your prayers is that the good Lord helps us to increase members. And I'm going to leave you with my catchphrase. Every brother should be able to bring at least 1 new brother a year. Think it through. At the end of the year, we double each year. And it will help the order to survive. Worthy Grand Knight, I submit my report.
Thank you, Brother John. Any of the brothers from Province 12, 34, 39 wish to comment on it? Again, Brother John, thank you very much for the 2 years as a regional director, and again for all the work that you've done for the order over the years. Again, thank you very, very much for that. Don't be shy, you'll be quite happy to do that. Brothers, I would also like to welcome another guest who's just slipped in the corner here. He was very nice to me up in Cumbria earlier on this year. Karen Rosillo has come in here, so I'd like to welcome Karen for the weekend. Hopefully before we break up for lunch, then Karen will give us a wonderful, inspiring talk before we go for our lunch. Hopefully that'll happen. So can I now ask, so welcome Karen and enjoy the weekend. Can I now ask Brother Steve McMillan, the Director for Action and Social, please. Sorry, Brother Roy.
We have not yet adopted the report
From Brother John, yeah? We did? Yeah? Did we do that? I'm sure we did. Okay, brothers, can I... Do it again, my brothers, right? Yeah? That has been adopted, Brother Roy, for a second time.
Well, the Supreme Knight, my Lord Bishop, esteemed guests, brothers, you've seen the action report, and I'm hoping you've all read it through. We all have a lot to go through, so I'll try and be as quick as I possibly can. We all want to go for a lunch. 2 minutes? Oh, you're being very kind. So I'm just hoping that my slides can come up. But if they can't, I'm stuck. So just bear with me a minute, please. Because obviously the first thing we're going to start with is that, the Grand National Draw, going forward. So let's start off with what it is, what do we hope to achieve, and where do we go from here? So what is it? Well, as it says at the bottom, it is to raise funds for action and youth of today. We've all heard the finance report. We're all counting our pennies. So the only way we can promote ourselves through youth action is to raise the funds ourselves. And this is one of the ways we do it. I'll go back, you can see. At the bottom now, it does say, proceeds are going to action and youth of today. So we need to be, going forward, selling these tickets as best we can to raise the funds. Last year we raised roughly £7,500 profit from the Grand National Tour at tickets. That just about covered the youth competitions. So going forward, if we want to evangelise, we're going to have to sell more tickets. So I'm asking brothers, please, sell them to your friends, family, parish, even on the street if you have to, because this really does impact us and how we can operate. If we can cover the cost of the youth action and even local communities, I'll point to Brother John O'Donnell here, who has gone around Scotland for the past 18 months with the statue of St. Michael. He has to do that on his own funds, and I'd like to, through action and your help, give him some money to cover the costs. That's just one. There are many that are probably around here, and you know yourselves, that need that bit of extra money. So we need to raise it, because obviously we can't take it out of our funds, because that means the dues have got to go up. And we all know how good we like that. So, going on to the next thing, the 200 Club. We have asked all councils, the board has actually asked this year, all councils to take a number. As we presently stand, we've got 145 numbers took. And there's quite a few councils and individuals who took more than one ticket number. But we've got 200 councils. Where are the rest of you? So can I ask the PGKs to go back to the councils and ask them to support us? We've had to cut down on the number of prizes because we've been running at a loss for, would we say, about 18 months, Supreme Knight? So we've had to cut down on the number of prizes we give out. So I'm asking again, brothers, this is helping us keep the cost of the dues down, but it's also helping us to evangelise in the local community. And that's what we've got to do. We've got to evangelise as best we can. Because if we don't evangelise, we're not going to get more brothers in there. So please, help us to help you. Support us in all these efforts that we're doing, the Grand National Ticket and the 200 Club. Now going back to the Grand National Ticket, I know quite a few people don't like the idea that we've gone with horse racing. But may I point out, the horse racing is just a gimmick to get us to a bit of extra excitement. So after this, if I'm re-elected, I'm going to be putting out a survey with 3 options on it. One is to stay as we are and do the horse racing. 2 is to have an Easter raffle as such. And the 3rd one is to have a Christmas raffle. So the choice is yours, which fits your present means the best. Do you think we'd be better having an Easter and or a Christmas raffle, or would you consider carrying on with the horses? The choice is yours. So please pass it on to your councils so that we get a consensus across the board so we can help raise more funds. As you can see, I'm quite happy to beg. You know, I'm happy to beg because if we don't get the money in, we don't get the message out. I think that's the best way of putting it. The Relic Tour. What a superb effort that's been across the board. The Relic Tour, I'm going to, in a sense, blow my own trumpet here, and I hope Province 3 doesn't mind this. The Relic Tour, we've had many a priest come forward and say, I would have loved to have had those relics in my church. Now, I went to visit my daughter, and I spoke to a parish priest, and he thought that the relics were brilliant, and he wanted them in his church. So I said, well, if I can get them in your church, I want a council. And he said, quite happy. I'm quite happy to do that. And Province 3 is taking that on board, and they've got 8 brothers hopefully going to join. So I think that's an excellent effort on Province 3's. So the message is there. The Relic Tour is a way forward of recruiting. So, how can I put this? The best way of putting it is, if we're going to do anything, if we have a look around this room, we've seen a lot of people who've got glum faces. And we're not going to recruit people with that. I think the best way of putting it is, our best foot forward. A smile and a handshake goes a long way. A smile and a handshake gets that man to think better of us. Also, communication. Please, can I add communication? If we don't tell them what we're doing, they don't even know we're actually in their parish. So please, communicate what you're doing. That will attract more men to you. So, like I say, a smile and a handshake. I'm trying to be as quick as I can here, because we've got quite a bit to do. The Charles Federer Trophy. This is a trophy for action. Now, brothers, there are 200 councils in this order, and they've all been invited to fill in this survey. The survey gives the council the opportunity to show the order the works they've been doing. And I know a lot of you have been doing very good works in your councils. But of the 200 councils that we've got, I got 6 replies. Now, best will in the world, I'm trying to collect best practices. And if you don't fill in these surveys, I don't know what best practice is. So I'm begging you, please show us how you're doing the good work you're doing. Promote them to the order as a whole so we can all share in your good works. So with that out of the way, we did the 6 surveys, and these are the results. So in 3rd place, from Province 12, Council 266, Streatham. In 2nd place was last year's winner, Rill, from Province 37. So, can I ask the Provincial Grand Knight of Province 12 to come and accept this cup on behalf of Dartford Council 108, who've shown the most initiative going forward. And I hope that carrying forward, you will all take this on board and help us to help you. Oh, that way. Sorry. So I'll now move on to what we've done in the past year. We did support SPUC in their 10 million prayers for 10 million lives, where we did 6 monthly rosaries, culminating in 40 hours adoration at St. Thomas's in Middlesbrough. And I'd like to thank the parish who supported us and the various groups from St. Thomas's who came along and helped us pray. I'd also like to thank all the councils who took part in the 40 hours and the councils who've supported us by doing the rosaries. So going forward, I'm looking for more councils to support us by doing the rosaries next year. So please volunteer yourselves. I'd just like to say, at the same time, those who pray together, stay together, brothers. Now, I know that we've got roughly 400 brothers in the order, and we barely make 20 brothers come onto the rosary. So please, when head office sends out the notification, pass them round your councils. Invite them to come and pray with us, because that's our life and blood, our fraternity. The National Action Project, the one we're doing now, we've been here a year. And as you've all seen, I put in both the bulletin and in the papers here, the letter from Father Peter in Columba, that is showing the deprivation of the children and the challenges that they have to overcome and the work that they're doing. Now, we've discussed it many times over here now about the cost of living in the UK. So can you imagine how bad it is in Colombia? So please, brothers, can we make a concerted effort over the next year to give them the monies that are going to keep them going for years to come? Now, I'm meant to be doing this on Zoom, but unfortunately, it's not. But we are going to donate this year £5,000 to let the children live. And I'm hoping next year, with your help, we can perhaps triple that amount. So please, have a word with your parishes, have a word with your councils, and please help us to help them. Going forward, let me just 1 minute. Here we are. We're now at the end of the first year of our National Action Project. But unfortunately, time doesn't stop still. So now we're going to have a look at 3 more candidates for the National Action Project starting in 2024 and 2025. So please, can you give the delegates your attention? And at the end, you'll be asked to vote on what our next National Action Project is going to be. Like I said, there's 3 of them, so I'm going to ask our past Supreme Knight, Brother Charlie McCluskey, who's going to do the first pitch.
Thank you, Brother Stephen. Worthy Supreme Knight, my Lord Bishop, brothers, Reverend Fathers, and thank you. The actual proposal that we're putting forward, brothers, is you'll see a small leaflet on your table there, and it's for a project called the Alma Mater Fund. It was actually proposed to Supreme Council in 2021 in Liverpool, and it was unsuccessful that year, but I'm absolutely delighted to say that I was very, very happy at that time that the project that was successful was able to go forward, and I totally endorse what Brother Stephen's saying here. Let's in this year really put a push on to make it successful. So the Alma Mater Fund, brothers, what is the Alma Mater Fund? It's an initiative from SPUC. I'm sure, like me, I'm sure you'll agree, last night the Jack McArdle lecture with Father Matthew was enlightening and also a fantastic lecture. But it also brought it home and brings it home the pro-life nature of the Knights of St. Columba. And it's something that we have had at our heart since and even before the introduction of abortion in the United Kingdom. So the fund basically is to help pregnant students, and at this moment at university, to have their babies whilst they continue academic studies. So basically, one of the biggest dropouts in university and college and further education areas is young women who, for peer pressure and other reasons, do not continue with their pregnancies because they're told it will affect your future if you have the baby. What the Alma Mater Fund does is it supports that. Our fund is to give support to those women so they can have their babies. Now, one of the great mantras that tends to come out in the pro-abortion movement is that they say that abortion is a woman's right to choose. We do not disagree with that. It is a woman's right to choose, but what we want to do is give them a choice. For so long and so much in society, we do not give women the choice. So therefore, they don't have that option to actually choose life, because when women are given the opportunity to choose life, they invariably do. And the vast amount of abortions are carried out when the women find themselves in situations they have no choice. So we're not there in any way ever to demonise or criticise women on this issue. We're there to support the women to have their babies, and what that does is that what the Alma Mater Fund has been doing. In the last 2 years, nearly 40 babies have been born, in great part to the project that I'm proposing today, the Alma Mater Fund. Those 40 babies may not have been in existence if it wasn't for this fund. But what we want to do is we want to widen it from universities. We started in Scotland 2 years ago, and we want to widen it not only to universities in the UK, but to colleges and places of further education. And we need your support to not only support us financially, but also to support the fund by letting people know it's there. What I'd like to do just now is, there's a small video I'm going to show. It's only a couple of minutes. It's from a colleague in SPUC. As some of you know, I do work for SPUC. And she is the coordinator of the Alma Mater Fund. Margaret Akers. Originally, she came from Boston, Massachusetts, not Lincoln. She came over here. She studied at Glasgow University, met her husband while she was at university, got married, and she's actually settled in this city of Edinburgh. So I'm going to hand you over to Margaret, and then I'll just conclude just after that, Brother Stephen, if that is okay.
Brother Charlie, before you put that on, brothers, would you like to come over this side and actually see the video? There's seats at the front here, brothers, you'll be able to sit there. I don't want you to have as an invited guest and sit you in the corner and can't see it.
Pregnant and parenting students are vulnerable to a great number of issues while at university or college. According to the National Union of Students, only 11% of student parents say they have enough money to cover their expenses. 60% have considered dropping out at some time during university. Universities are, on the whole, not accommodating of pregnancy and maternity. If a woman were to become pregnant unintentionally while studying, she can feel a great deal of pressure to either drop out of her course or to have an abortion. University staff are often entirely clueless about how to support these students. Pregnant students' rights as a protected group in law are regularly ignored. And so, through the Alma Mater Fund, we aim to help these students navigate this difficult time. My name is Margaret Akers, and I'm the Services Coordinator with the Society for the Protection of Unborn Children. The Alma Mater Fund is an initiative which provides financial grants to pregnant university students facing difficulty, while signposting them to other sources of support and helping them to advocate for themselves during their studies. To date, we have provided more than 30 grants from the initiative and are always working with new students. The circumstances of each woman have varied, and some have been facing some incredibly difficult times in their lives. We've worked with a young woman who was sleeping on a friend's couch because she had been kicked out of her family home. We have also worked with women who feared violence from unsupportive partners. We are facing an unprecedented number of applications. having had more contacts in the last month than we did in our entire first year operating. It seems that the cost of living crisis, among other things, has put many people in very challenging financial circumstances. It can be incredibly isolating to be pregnant in the context of studying, and not many people are equipped to help you, even if they want to. To be able to direct students to ongoing support they need is simple and effective, but can have a significant impact. Here are some things recent recipients have had to say.
As a young mother, you worry you will not be able to provide for your child. This fund has relieved enormous financial stress for me, allowing me to enjoy my pregnancy and finish my studies rather than worry.
The Alma Mater Fund came through for me at my lowest moments, and I'm very grateful for that.
If we want to make abortion unthinkable, we must be present to these women, make them feel capable and competent, and find joy with them in the new life they're bringing into the world. And the support we're able to offer will radiate beyond just the individual. Because the student chose life for her child, more students will see a pregnant woman on their course, highlighting to each of them that it's possible to continue your studies in those circumstances. Academics and university staff will work with these women and see the needs they have, and see the failings in the university system towards pregnant and parenting students. One young woman, simply by moving forward in this way, can have an ongoing impact on those around her. The Knights of St. Columba have been at the forefront of the battle to build a culture of life. During my time at SPUC, I've been amazed by the members of the Order who work diligently for the moral and social welfare of our country. We have aspirations to expand the Alma Mater Fund. We have already grown from across Scotland to the whole of the UK, covering nearly 200 institutions. A record number of people from all backgrounds are attending university, and a degree can be pivotal to somebody's financial and career success. And so universities were an important place for us to start. But we're conscious that there are other higher education institutions where women face similar experiences of hardship. There's certainly room for growth. We want to ensure the sustainability of this project, ensuring we can continue to offer this support to women and perhaps offer more significant support in the future. But ultimately, our hope for the Alma Mater Fund is that it will affect institutional change to bring about a culture change on campuses across the UK, so that universities and colleges recognize that they need to meet the needs of pregnant and parenting students and make accommodations for their circumstances. Because otherwise, women will continue to face the false choice between their studies and their child.
Well, I think one of the most poignant comments that Margaret made there was that in 1 month we get more applications than we did in our first year. So when you think about that, the situation we've got in our country at the moment, the financial crisis is not only hurting people in their pockets, but it could also lead to babies not being born. We do ask you to support it. I'm talking about the Jack McArdle lecture. Jack McArdle, for those of you who don't know, was a member of the board. He was the Supreme Action Convener of this order before, I think just under Tony Bateman might have been the Supreme Knight at the time, but he also worked for SPUC. And I think it's fantastic that we had the lecture in his name last night, and also this afternoon we have another great pro-life advocate and speaker, Sister Roseanne Reddy. I believe this order has pro-life at its heart. I ask you to support this initiative this year. And who knows that maybe in 20, 30, 40 years' time, some of those babies that we save in the 2 years that we support the campaign will join the Knights of Columba, and even more so, might even be at that top table someday. I ask for your support, brothers, for this project. Thank you.
Thank you, Brother Charlie. So as I said, there are 3 nominations, so please think about what Brother Charlie said. Think about what Father Matthew said last night. Now moving on, we've got Brother Richard Mitchell, who's going to say his spiel on cathod. Please again, listen very carefully to what he's saying, because we have to make a choice at the end of these discussions. Thank you, Brother Richard.
Thank you, Brother Stephen and Brother Sean, for technical assistance in enabling me to put forward this proposal on behalf of Province 9, Nottingham. When the invitation came out to propose projects for the next National Action Project, our Provincial Council meeting back in June or May, whenever it was, agreed incredibly quickly that the greatest need was for water in worldwide terms. Now, those of you with long memories will know that the greatest success we ever had in this order in terms of fundraising for a water project was Wells for Water, which coincided with the exact 3 years of the late Brother Ken Hargreaves' period as Supreme Knight. And it actually, over those 3 years, raised over £260,000. Now, I doubt on our current numbers that we'd reach it again this year, and over 2 years, but nevertheless, water is still a critical need. CAFOD 2 has moved on, so this isn't just Son of Wells for Water. In other words, we're not just going to try and refurbish wells that we did a quarter of a century ago, or to dig new ones specifically. This project will involve some like that, but this is a project for one specific area, and it's Marsabit County in Kenya. Now, Marsabit County is the 4th poorest county in Kenya. It's arid and semi-arid, and if I can move on to the slides, and I'm not an expert in this. That's it. Thank you. Thank you, Brother Steve and Brother Sean. Right, what you're looking at is a picture to show a little bit of context. It's equatorial, that's the first thing. It borders Ethiopia, and you can see it's the top corner on the right hand side. It's the top corner of Kenya. Population of that area is 460,000. Geographically, you're thinking roughly the same size as the entire physical area of Scotland. So that just gives you a bit of context as to where we are. Okay, that shows you a little bit more in terms of rainfall, and there is precious little. It's been a drought area for 5 of the last 6 years. Principal activity up to now has been cattle raising. You get support from the ladies. It's far more actually an activity where, because of the nature of it, men do far more of the work actually than the ladies. Again, just showing you the arid nature of the country. That one is, some ladies, and they're talking about what they can achieve and what is needed by them. In practical terms, the project, if successful, will actually increase the amount of practical employment for the ladies, because it involves diversifying away from cattle raising. Right, now, as you see, a pretty skinny animal. A carcass of a cow. Now, I specifically asked the question of CAFOD, is that due to an animal predator that cow ended up in that condition? And it was solely down to drought. Now, that's the issue we're looking at. So it's an attempt to try and improve on that position. That currently is what people have to do to sustain water. We don't have tap facilities there like we do here. I know we criticize our water companies, but their position is staggeringly worse. So, CAFOD partner Caritas, and this is the project therefore for Marsabit County and Diocese. Now that one is to show what can happen with diversification. Beekeeping, that's a little hive that they're actually tending there. Beekeeping is something that actually requires far less water, for example, than cattle do, and it's something that the ladies can do as well. It's lighter work. Obviously, they've got to be covered and shaded and so on, exactly as people in our country would be, but it is something that they can move on. So it actively empowers women in the area. Now that is where you can get to. This is an example one of the benefit of hydroponics. So this is where your water comes in. As you can see, it's got really attractive outcomes. And and if you think of the use of hydroponics in this country, it tends to go on cannabis farming actually. So this is an enormously better use of hydroponics than we manage in this country. Projects there have to be sheltered because of, to try and ensure that the water that is there is kept in a better condition. You'll get next, water tower. Water towers have to be erected. Some of the wells will need refurbishing. Some of the wells may need to be dug anew, but that is the nature of the project. Okay, and they're in a happier children, happier people. As you can see now, we got past the stage of actually improving the land with water. Kenya is actually quite a fertile country, provided you're not in drought conditions, or that you can compensate for the drought conditions with this sort of project. And as you can see, look at the quality of the land there, and the vegetation that you can grow there. And that is a beautiful bird, as you can see, very fertile land where it has been able to be tended properly. And that is the project. I'd commend it to you. It's an overseas project, obviously, as you can see. It concentrates on water, basically, again. It widens the scope of employment for the ladies of the area, so that is a tremendous gain as well. It doesn't stop the men from being employed on cattle raising, but you have to improve the quality of the land to be able to successfully rear the cattle. So I commend this to you. I hope you'll vote for it. Well, every respect to Brother Charlie, but I hope you'll vote for this one. And just for our colleagues in Province 16, if this one is a successful bidder, I look forward in particular to Carfin Council's fantastic support, because a member of the CAFOD team that I met is Brother Kevin Dillon of Carfin Council. So I hope Carfin Council will support this as well. Thank you very much, brothers.
I'll leave that there. Okay, brothers, I hope we can take that into account, what he said, how we can improve the lives of the people in Kenya. Next, we're going to have Brother Mike Hayden from Jersey, who's going to tell us his proposal. Thank you. One minute while we set up the slides. Brother Michael.
Thank you very much, Supreme Knight, Lord Bishop, worthy guests and brothers, for the opportunity to speak about our project in Rwanda. Hopefully we'll get some pictures up soon. I'm the chairman of Hands Around the World Jersey. We're a small charity registered in Jersey, but we work closely with our parent charity in Monmouth. And our main aim is to support disadvantaged children and young people around the world, and also to send volunteers to projects to offer practical help, skill sharing and friendship. That's not it. It's called Street Children in Rwanda. So, our charity has been going to Rwanda now for since 2012. And during that time, we've made, we've made wonderful connections with a town, Bugarama, in the southwest of the country. And we've been going there every year, apart from COVID. And our aim there is to work with the local schools to improve teaching and learning conditions. And over that time, we've been able to help, with the help of Jersey Overseas Aid and substantial grants from them, to build classrooms, to build kitchens, toilets, and other facilities around the schools there. And as I say, we've got some wonderful friends. We love going back there. Rwanda is often in the news, but it's a wonderful country with fantastic people who have done a huge amount to regenerate that country since the genocide 30 years ago. We're very proud to be part of that and to be able to put a little bit of contribution to that. But what I'm talking about today is one particular project which was started in one of our partner schools there at St Paul Muko. Can we have the first slide, please? Oh, which one do I press? That one. This is Father Emmanuel Uwingabiri. He's Catholic priest and head teacher of the school, and we first met him earlier on this year when we went back to Bugarama for the first time since COVID. He's taken over the school, and last year he started an initiative to go out, to reach out into the local community to bring in youngsters who've dropped out of school over a considerable period of time and were fending for themselves. And that means thieving, smuggling goods across the border. It's right on the border with the Congo, and the border is a river, and children smuggle goods across the border by swimming, etc. It also has large lorries and trucks which go through the border crossing there, and they're there overnight. And you can imagine, don't need to explain really, but the temptations of prostitution, etc. And there's a lot of young people involved in that. And so the reasons for them dropping out of school are many, but they're usually linked to poverty and to family breakup, which means that they end up having to fend for themselves. The solution that Father Emmanuel had was simple, is to offer them 2 meals a day. That's at lunchtime and in the evening, and that's 7 days a week, 52 weeks of the year, so that's at weekends and at holiday periods as well, to bring those children back so that they're not having to fend for themselves. They can come back into school. When we first met Father Emmanuel in May this year, there were 150 youngsters that they brought in, ranging from as young as 8 up to more than 20. The oldest student who's come back in is actually aged 29, would you believe? And there are others who are in their 20s or late teens, and they get integrated back into the school. So you've got youngsters, let's say teenagers, who are in a 14, 15, in primary school alongside very small ones as well. But that's the level that they come back into. It seems to work somehow. So, Hands Around the World Jersey, we've committed to helping as far as we can. Now, this is the budget for for what they're producing. The school gets no money from the government for these youngsters that they bring back in, so they have to find the funds for themselves. The numbers you've got there on the screen indicating, we're talking about when we went back in July this year, the numbers have gone up from 150 to 280. The latest numbers that we're talking about, I've heard recently, are 317. So that even these figures are out of date. But these are the costs for feeding the children and also for providing school uniform and school materials. Comes to about £21,000. Obviously, when the budget goes up, so they need to find a bit more money. It's not just that, but it's also the school do their best to integrate the youngsters into the school, and they've put aside 2 teachers who are dedicated towards that task, a male and a female teacher, and their job is solely to make sure that those children coming back are integrated back into the classroom successfully, and that they feel wanted and needed, and any issues that they have are dealt with straight away. And again, that is not funded by the government. It's something that the school itself has to deal with. And this is the kind of food they get. It's fairly basic, as you can imagine. So the big white bowls there are full of cassava bread, which is the main... the Rwandans would feel they weren't getting fed properly unless they had this. So this is the main stodge for the meal. And then alongside that, you will get beans and vegetables to give it taste and more nutrition as well. So that's the meal. And so those children, as you can see there, the youngsters come in the evening time, in this case, to receive that food. Now, I'm hoping this next section is going to work. I'm not quite sure how we do this one. It's a short YouTube video with some of those children giving their testimony of what this has meant for them. I'm afraid it's probably not going to work extremely well, and I say that is for 2 reasons. One is that the children are speaking, it's their second language, remember, so they are speaking in the second language. Some of them are speaking in English.
Sorry, brother, can I just cut in just now? Sean,
Sure.
don't put that video on, please, just yet. It's now 12 o'clock. My Lord Bishop, can you do the Angelus for us, please?
Okay, that's great.
The angel of the Lord declared unto Mary, Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with thee. Blessed art thou among women, and blessed is the fruit of thy womb, Jesus. Behold the handmaid of the Lord. Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with thee. Blessed art thou among women, and blessed is the fruit of thy womb, Jesus.
Holy Mary, Mother of God, pray for us sinners now and at the hour of our death. Amen.
The Word became flesh.
And dwelt amongst us.
Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with thee. Blessed art thou among women, and blessed is the fruit of thy womb, Jesus.
Holy Mary, Mother of God, pray for us sinners now and at the hour of our death. Amen.
Pray for us, O Holy Mother of God.
We may be made worthy of the promises of Christ.
Pour forth, we beseech thee, O Lord, thy grace into our hearts, that we, to whom the incarnation of Christ thy Son was made known by the message of an angel, may by his passion and cross be brought to the glory of his resurrection, through the same Christ our Lord. Amen. May the divine assistance remain with us always, so that the faithful departed, through the mercy of God, rest in peace. Amen.
Thank you, my Lord. You can now carry on, John.
The second reason why it may not be so successful is that there are subtitles to what the children are saying, but they appear at the bottom of the screen, and I think people at the back here might find it difficult to actually read that bit as well. But we'll see how we get on, and we may just cut it short. Thank you, brother.
Here to school, my previous life was very bad. I was the child of street here also. I lived with problem. I lost my parents and the other parent left us. After reaching in school, the head teachers, Windham Emmanuel, He helped us to get the things we need. So now I have the talent of working hard in other. I get to become a life in the future. Here at school, our fathers, he give us food, we get everything we need, school materials, school uniform. So I think for him. So now also I think for other organizations like especially Hands Around the World, which give us all things we need. Because my previous was very life, I want to become in that life. So now I'm in six, I don't finish my studies. It can be better if after my studies, you can give me a job for doing it. Thanks.
My name is Sirvana. Before reaching high school, I was three children like others you see. I was a smuggler and a bundler. Our activities were stealing and fighting with others. We also alcoholists, but after coming here at school, we have gained different schools which supported us to be in friend with our neighbors. Just we have gained different also knowledges about studies. Also our life have changed. Our life before coming to school was harsh compared to this time. Sometimes we passed on white nights when our fathers and mothers fight. But now at school, we eat foods from here. When we reach at home, sometimes we start dinner and we sleep. That encourages us to study hard and work hard in order to prevent those bad life which affect us. Here at school, our father tried to take care of us by searching everything which can make us to be happy. Also, your contribution you bring here is very necessary and important because it helps to get our important needs of our life. By the end, I would like to thank for you by what you make for us. We want to become as you are. It's us who will be the better leaders of our country, who will support others like what you are doing now. As you can see, our life depends on you. Thanks for your help.
I think we'll stop it there, shall we? It's obviously not a professional production. It's done by the school, and it's just interviewing the students there. Sorry. It's not a professional production, obviously. It's done by the school. On the leaflets that you've got in front of you, there is a link there to the YouTube, so you can always watch that if you wish to look at some other. The next couple who are speaking in Kinyarwandan, but you can carry on watching it there if you wish to know a bit more about it. So just to go on to say that the school is doing its best to integrate the children into activities, not just academic activities, but also sport and music and dance and things like this. It's a remarkable school, and one of the things about it is I've just heard that the school has got a football team which they has been representing Rwanda in the East African School Trophy, and they've won. That's a group of countries close by, and they've turned out to be champions. So it just shows, and some of the street children are part of that program as well. They've also got tremendous dance and music program at the school, and they get the youngsters involved in that. And when we've been visiting that school, we've been present at some of these fantastic celebrations that they have. I wish I could show you some more videos about that, but obviously time is limited. The school isn't just asking for handouts. The school is actually investing in agriculture. They've rented fields locally in order to grow their own vegetables, so that they can supplement the school feeding programme. Parents, this is not just for the street children, it's for the whole school. Parents who can't afford actually just come in and work to be able to pay for the fees for the school lunches. While we've been there, we've been helping with hose, etc., working in the fields. Not for too long, I hasten to add, but we've also helped out with the cassava harvest. And one of the pictures you can see there in the bottom left-hand corner is some of the volunteers we had there in August. We had 14 teachers joined us at the school for 2 weeks this August, and they helped out in the fields. You can also see Father Emmanuel also working there too. And we've, in order to help them with this school project, we've bought that water pump at a cost of £2,400 as a contribution to their feeding programme, etc. This is just a little bit of background about our charity itself, called Hands Around the World. As I say, we've been working there since 2010, supported by Jersey Overseas Aid. St Paul Muko was the first school that we got involved with. They have over 3,000 students at that school. It's one of the issues, obviously, with Rwanda, the number of young people that are there. And they take students ranging from nursery up to A-level. The school has been transformed over that time that we've been going there, but in particular over the last few years with that dynamic leadership of Father Emmanuel, who's certainly an inspiration to us all. There's an indication there of our website if you wish to know more. So I commend this to you. It's something that we are really keen to help supporting, and it's just one of the things that we're doing in Rwanda. Many thanks.
Okay, brothers, you've heard all 3 nominations. So you've all got your voting slips in front of you? No, you're voting.
Brother Stephen, can I get Brother Tony to explain the voting?
Yes. Brother Tony, where's your stick?
Over there.
I thought it was over there.
Follow in with it. Dead straightforward, but this time you've got to do some work. First of all, find your little slip of paper.
Yeah, we share it.
And then write on it. If you want to vote for the project that Brother Charlie put forward, write SPUC, S-P-U-C. If you want to vote for the Jersey one, write children. And if you want to vote for the CAFOD one, just write CAFOD. And then fold your papers over, and one nice steward will come in and collect them, and we'll go out and count them. Charlie can't count them because it's one of his projects. We are all honest.
You can vote yourself.
Yes, I know. I'll vote myself.
Thanks, Brother Tony.
And don't do anything while I'm out.
While
there we go. There's an offer you can't refuse.
Stephen, hang on a second. Before we go on with that, we've got the voting. While we're doing the voting, your report is now open for discussion.
I've not finished.
You have now.
Oh, okay. I do apologise, brothers.
So, brothers, if anybody wants to discuss Stephen's report, please come up to the microphone. Where's your committee, Stephen? Oh, sorry.
Excuse me, is the voting strength still 61?
I was just about to say it's actually 62, Tony.
62.
62. Brother Tom,
Worthy Supreme Knight and Father Tom, Bishop Tom, and distinguished guests and brothers,
Tom Breen, past Provincial Grand Night, Province 12. Can I just make two pleas? In relation to the Grand National Draw, can we get the tickets out by the end of this month or early November? Because we have a problem definitely in Province 12. If the tickets aren't out till in November, they then get lost in the Christmas melee. Then the problem is you're trying to sell tickets in early January and its timescale is too limited in terms of trying to meet province timetable. The second issue is actually, can we actually ensure that the winners are paid within a month of actually winning the competition or getting the horses? I mean, last year in Province 12, we were fortunate. We won first prize and second prize, and we also had three. We also had three horses. But one concern was when we're selling Grand National tickets in a parish, and people are having to say, "Have you received your winnings yet?" And 3 months later they haven't. It doesn't reflect well on our ability to market the tickets. So can I make a plea? Can we get the tickets out to council provinces within the next month? And can we also ensure that prizes are actually given to the successful winners within a month?
Brother Stephen, Brother Bert, he's going to answer that one for
Brother Tom, I'd like to answer that for you, because basically speaking, within a month it can't be done. We need to go back. Head office has all the results, and sometimes all you get is a name like Tom, Council X, Y, or Z. And you don't know who this Tom is, and then you start finding out who Tom is. Then finally the council returns to you, and then we need the bank details from him. So the month goes out the window in that situation, Brother Tom, as has happened in this current year.
Okay, but can I just make one point? I think this year we were in a situation where we hadn't paid out the prize winners, some of them till August. Now I'm happy in Province 12 if we've any winner to make sure the forms are completed and sent to head office as quickly as possible. But I think it reflects badly on people who are selling tickets in parishes. So what we're trying to maximise our income. We're in a serious financial position, and we need this money.
Okay, Brother Tom, we'll make sure that is reflected. Anybody else? Oh, Brother Tom Hatton.
Hello, yeah. Tom Hatton, Province 8, past Provincial Grand Night. With the Supreme Knight, Your Grace. I'd just like to ask one question. I've been approached about the shield, which is presented to the most ticket sellers. Well, Province 8, well, mainly Council 577 Standish, won it 8 times. I brought it back, I think it was 2018 or 2019, and nobody's seen it since. I'd just like to know where it is. You know, it's a lovely thing. I mean, it's full of. It was actually full because of what I did when I did it last time.
Were you last with it, Tom?
Pardon?
Did you have it last?
No, Neil. I haven't finished. No, let me finish. I give it to Neil that in 2018, 2019. And I've never seen it since. Nobody's seen it since. I've asked about it.
Well, it's certainly not in Hillington Road because we've now moved for there. Oh. And Brother Sean and I spent days up there.
Well, I definitely give it him because I can see him now. He took it off me and put it behind his table. So I'd just like to know where it is. It's a shame, really, because there's a lot of names on it. Yeah. You know.
Well, we'll do a search again in the archives and what's left there. But everything that was in Hillington has been moved across to either Renfrew at the moment for our archives or into the new office. But remember, the new office doesn't have much space, so I'll be very surprised if it's in there. But we'll make a look for it, Tom. It's easy as that.
It's probably finished upon somebody's fire, I don't know, but we're going about selling the tickets. We've won it, like I said, 8 times. And what we did, we got permission off parish priests to sell the tickets outside of church. And it did. It did work. So That's all I want to say.
Thanks, Brother Tom.
Thank you very much. I've 55 minutes left, yeah, so I think I'll keep talking.
Brother John O'Donnell. Brother Cuthbert first then.
Worthy Supreme Knight, my Lord Bishop, brothers, Cuthbert Coleshaw, Provincial Grand Knight, Lancaster Province. Just a word about one particular subject which I know is in your report, brother, and you refer to the prayerful activities of Brothers of the Order to support the pro-life movement, and that's very, very important. And also there's even more in Brother Sean's report about that as well, even though he didn't mention it in his verbal report. And these things are very important. But also important, and I think we've got to be aware, brothers, that the vested interests of the pro-abortion lobbies are very, very active. They're not giving up. And there are those who would want the law to be changed to permit abortion right up to birth, believe it or not. And also the pro-euthanasia lobbies are also there lobbying and actively wanting to get their agenda to the forefront. And all of this depends on our lawmakers as to whether they're prepared to listen to those lobbyists and change the law to make abortion and euthanasia more amenable in our country. So, brothers, I just urge you to, in all of your councils, when you're discussing your action projects, to ask your brothers in your councils to make sure they have this subject at the forefront of their minds and lobby those who have the power to make these decisions, i.e. your members of parliament. They're the ones who will make the decisions at the end of the day. So we need to constantly lobby those people, write to them, send them emails. You know, I've done this for a considerable period of time. My member of parliament is not a pro-life person, but that's not stopped me from writing to her, sending her emails on this subject matter over a period of time. Because if we don't put it into the forefront of their minds and they're aware that there are people amongst their constituents who are concerned about this subject, they ain't going to do anything. So please, brothers, make sure, get your brothers to lobby their MPs.
Thank you, brother. Well done. Brother John O'Donnell.
Well, the Supreme Knight, my Lord Bishop, esteemed guests and Reverend Fathers, brothers, John O'Donnell, past Provincial Grand Knight of Province 1. I thank Brother Stephen for his comments regarding St. Michael. St. Michael, for me, has become an addiction. I think of him morning, noon and night. It's an absolute privilege to represent the Knights of St. Columba with a small group of knights who go around all the churches and bring in the statue there. We keep the statue there for a week, and the adulation we get is absolutely fantastic from the parishioners. At the same time, we ask for a stipend. A lot of churches, unfortunately, don't give us a stipend. The smaller churches, the very poorer parishes, are the ones who seem to come across and give us a stipend. It is a difficult situation in as much as with the transportation. We've got to go from church to church, and we don't have a van. We've got to hire a van. When I say hire, it's a man and a van with two labourers who do the removals. That's basically the situation with St. Michael. We only meant to have him for 4 weeks, and we're now into 19 months, 20 months, and it's been absolutely fantastic. The relics of St. Margaret, St. Andrew and St. Columba have been one of the best things that's ever happened throughout my lifetime in the Knights of St. Columba. The only problem that I do have with it is we had it for a very, very short period of time. I would like to propose that we have the relics out again and we can have them in a church for a week. That way we can have the congregation come along on a Sunday and revere the relics. It's just a pity that we only had it for such a short time. Not only that, I've been inundated with requests from parish priests asking for the relics. I would like to hopefully make sure that we get the relics on a new tour after Christmas. Thank you.
Thank you, Brother John. Brother Tony?
Two things worthy Supreme Knight. First of all, I think the relics was a great success. The only thing was, it seems to have done a bit of a rush. It might have been better if we could have planned it for 6 months down the line. And because when our parish had it, it arrived with everything arrived except its service at the beginning. And our parish priest arranged a service at the beginning, which we got about 50 people to, and veneration for after each Mass, the Saturday and Sunday. But he did it. And then we passed it on to another province. It's worthwhile being a bit more prepared than we were this time. And the second thing is, we seem to have missed the synod, which is probably the most important movement in the church at the present moment. 2 years' time, we have a holy year, a jubilee year. And I think that the Pope's asked us to study Lumen Gentium and the Our Father. Will we be doing something about that in the next year?
Thank you, Brother Tony. Excuse me, I believe we actually had a proposal there from Brother John. Can I have a seconder for that? Okay. Brothers, all in favour? Can you... Okay, so what we'll do with that then is we'll get the action committee to look into that and come up with another time of when we're going to do the relic tour. And Brother Tony will make sure we have the proper, I won't say proper, because when the relics actually first come out, where's Brother Paddy's down there, we were only given permission 2 days before it actually started. We didn't know, we were waiting for permission from the parish priest to say we could actually have them for that length of time and keep them away from Carfin at that time. So again, there was lots of things put in, there was lots of things rushed. But if you look at the videos and the pictures that are on Facebook, guys, it was wonderful. It really is. And it is worth looking at again. So Brother Stephen will commend your committee to look at that and come back up with a proposal for us and get it organised again. Okay?
Okay.
Brother Stephen, you want to answer these points?
Okay, Brother Tom from Province 12. First off, let me apologise due to a miscommunication. We should have had the Grand National tickets with us this week, but they should be ready by next weekend, and I'm hoping that we can get them sent out expediently to all brothers and all provinces, and hopefully the provincial knights will pass them to the councils with the premises of asking them to give us extra effort in selling these tickets so that we can hold the competitions for the youth, so we can support local endeavours like the St. Michael's statue going around. All these things cost money. But as you're all aware, we don't want to raise the subs more than what we have to. So we have to look at other avenues of raising those funds. So again, please take it back to your councils saying, please sell more tickets so we can do more good works.
Brother Stephen, can I just cut in there a second? As you know, we moved head office from Hillington to the curial offices in Glasgow and Clyde Street. It is one room, brothers. So can I ask the three Scottish provinces to liaise with Mary and your provincial Grand Knight, Brother Charlie, to organise the distribution of the Grand National tickets? Brother Charlie, yeah. Brother John, yeah, and Brother John, yeah. I'm sorry, we just do not have the room in the head office to take 40,000 tickets and then spread them about and put them in envelopes. So we're going to have to come up with a solution with Mary and do that, okay? Sorry.
Brother Tom Hatton, the Shield. Well, if you don't know where it is, how are we going to know? But again, as the way the Supreme Knight said, we'll have another look. Brother Cuthbert, pro-life. Yes, pro-life is one of our undeniable facts that we are all supporting. Again, we can only put out to the brothers and ask them to contact their Member of Parliament. So again, hopefully, all the brothers here will support us in the pro-life avenue. John O'Donnell, thank you very much for doing the statue. Hopefully, it will all come to fruition where we might get some money for you to help along the way. But again, we need to sell the tickets and the 200 Club to actually allow us to do these good works. So brothers, it's down to you. And the Synod, Brother Tony, we'll definitely take that on board and give a report as we go through the year. As you all know, we do a monthly bulletin. So as I get the information, I'll assimilate it and put it out to you. So please pass it around. They're not just pieces of paper. They're actually what we as an order are doing at that present time. So we're asking you to, support us and spread the message. Thank you very much, Brother Supreme Knight.
Brothers, before we go any further here, I would like to announce that the National Action Project for 24 till 26 is SPUC, alma mater. And I'm sure with the collaboration that we've had with Buck, we'll have a really good time with that, Charlie. Brother Jim Holroyd, you wanted to say something? Come, before we just like.
With the Supreme Knight, my Lord Bishop, brothers, Jim Holroyd, Province 5, Leeds. On reflection, I should have brought this to the podium a little earlier at the end of Brother George's regional report. Following the end of the regional reports, first of all, I'd like to congratulate Brentwood and Westminster provinces on the way they've obviously embraced the upcoming mergers. Brothers, it's with real sadness that I address you today as the last Supreme Councillor to represent Province 5 Leeds. After 100 years of existence, Province 5 will disappear on March the 31st next year. As loyal knights and for the good of the order, we accept the decision of the Supreme Knight and the Board, but that doesn't mean that we agree with it. Under the Constitution, there's a paragraph that reads as follows: all the charter councils are placed in a province as decided by the Supreme Knight and the Board of Directors after consultation with the regional director, who must take into account the views of any involved provincial Grand Knights. I am assured that neither the immediate past provincial Grand Knight nor the current PGK of Province 5 were ever asked for their views. We knew nothing about this until the day of the meeting that had been called in Birmingham. We had no advance notice of that meeting, but we got, the day before, got by email the agenda and attachments that were going to be discussed at that meeting. This is when we discovered that the special committee report on provinces and regions was to be discussed, and which included a number of provincial mergers, none of which, by the way, included Province 5. Subsequent to that, an amendment was put forward by the Supreme Knight, adding Provincial 5 will merge with Province 9. We still don't know why. Even that amendment was changed, resulting in Province 5 being split 3 ways. 1 council to 9, 1 council to 6, and 2 councils to Province 21. Was it ever discussed that Province 5 might merge with Province 4, thus keeping a provincial presence in the northeast of the country? As it stands, from April next year, there will be no provincial dialogue with the Diocese of Middlesbrough, Leeds or Hallam. Going forward now, I hope that we do not lose any brothers over this. Dispersion on this scale will effectively remove the fraternal collective feeling that we have as a province. It's very likely that at least one of the councils will close and the brothers will transfer to Council 11 rather than be shipped off to another province. Has anyone even looked at a map to see how far it is from Hull to Carlisle? As a very proud Golden Jubilarian of the Order, I haven't the words to express how hurt and disappointed I am at the way your brother knights in my province have been treated. We've had no discussions whatsoever. Where is the fraternity and unity in all of this? With Supreme Knight, thank you.
Okay. I'll finish Brother Stephen's report first before I answer that, Brother Jim. So, brothers, can we adopt Brother Stephen's membership report, please? Oh, sorry. Action report. And I've had no pints today at all. That's carry, brothers. Brothers, can we have nominations for the Director for Action in Youth? Any more seconders for that, please? All right. Any more nominations? Brother Stephen, congratulations. You are now the Director for Action in Youth again. Congratulations. Brother Jim, one of the things that we've had talked about for quite a while is communication. We were up at head office and looking at the various emails and everything else. An email was sent out in plenty of time to all the PGKs inviting them to the meeting in Birmingham. I can't answer why your area didn't get that, but they obviously got the second email with the agenda and what was to be discussed on it. After the meeting, I'll use Brother Cuthbert as an example. Brother Cuthbert came up to us afterwards and said, would it not be better for us to move into Province 21? I said, if that suits, then that's fine. Because he said he could get to Burnley or the other side of there by the M65. It was fine. So there was discussion. What I will say is that at the meeting that we had in Birmingham, there was more directors there than there were provincial Grand Knights. I can't force people to turn up and to talk, Brother Jim. I can only put the things on there and they were discussed. And on that day, there was 2 big maps displayed and everything was discussed on that day. And as you said, it's the regions. If Province 5 would prefer to move into another province and they find it easier, come and talk to us. We said that from day one. If we've got it wrong, come and talk to us and we'll make it. But the mergers were going to work for the good of the order. That's what we're hoping. And for the fraternity of the order, please get your brothers to come and talk to us. And if we can make it work for you as well as for the order, then we'll certainly do that, Brother Jim. I hope that answers it. Thank you. Okay, right. We've got about 20 minutes before lunch. Karen, could we ask you to come up and give us a little address, please? So please invite Karen Rosilio up, please. Thank you.
Supreme Grand Knight, thank you very much, and my Lord Bishop. And good to... I was going to start off by saying, unaccustomed as I am. I'll get to that in a second. But I'd also assure you that I'm not going to go on for too long, for 2 reasons. One is because it's almost lunchtime. Second, because we've been here since 11 o'clock, and being men of a certain age, I think it's, tempting fate and stretching bladders too far. Okay. But I would like to say that I'm honoured to be able to be here with you and to be invited to speak. Unaccustomed as I am, I'm not unaccustomed to public speaking. I am unaccustomed to speaking to a group of men. Indeed, most of the time in our churches, in our primary schools, the adults that we work with are generally, in the majority, women. In fact, when I was a lad, I thought priests wore funny clothes that looked like dresses so that they wouldn't be out of place with the vast majority of people who are in their churches. The thing about men, the presence of men. We know, of course, that the greatest human being who responded to God's call is Mary. And as knights, we bow and honour Mary. We also know that in the Gospels there are such wonderful examples of women serving Christ. Mary Magdalene, for example, who was the first to witness the risen Christ from the tomb. But remember, the Lord also, of course, chose men. And in that gospel passage of the choosing of the first disciples who became apostles, the 4 fishermen, in that gospel passage, at the end it says, they left everything and followed him. But just before that, Jesus makes a play on words. From fishermen to fishers of men. So when it says that they left everything and followed him, they left their stuff. Yes, the nets, the boats, their father, and the business. But they carried something with them. So their generosity went both ways. The generosity of leaving something behind, but the generosity of carrying something with them. Not stuff, but themselves. The Lord called these men who were fishermen because he recognized in their experience and personalities gifts that could be put at service of the gospel. Those hard-working men. You also are all present here and present in your parishes as men who are men of a certain experience and men who are accustomed to places of work and the skills that that brings. So I have 2 little points to make. One is, never underestimate the power of your simple presence in parish life. Before any of the services to be done, being there is one of the strengths of malehood and fatherhood. And in our culture, we know and experience that the absence of the male figure has a detrimental effect within society. But let's be positive. The presence of the male figure of fatherhood, whether it's biological fatherhood or not, the presence of the man makes a real big difference. Just a small example of that, we in our parish, Council 60 and Region 6, we had a Blessed Sacrament procession from one of our churches into the cathedral in Carlisle, which is an Anglican cathedral, but it used to be ours, okay. 900 years old, this cathedral, and one of our excellent young assistants who knows no fear organised with the organisers of the cathedral itself that there should be, of all things, a Blessed Sacrament procession from our church into the cathedral. And one of our older priests had the great honour of carrying the Blessed Sacrament into that very cathedral. Imagine that after those centuries of division. But one of the significant things for me, and which made me very proud, was that the Church of England, people who were involved, as well as the Methodists and the Baptists, and there are also Church of Scotland there as well, a number of them mentioned how impressive it was to see so many men involved in the procession and taking charge, especially of the directions, which meant we didn't get lost. Actually, what they said was, how is it that you have so many men involved in your church? Presence. And the Knights of St. Columba can often be looked upon as rent-a-crowd. But I see it as men bringing their service to the church. It's impressive, and I want to thank you. The second point, and this is what I'm finishing with, is that just as those early disciples left everything, brought themselves into discipleship of Christ, walking his way, so also that is what we, all of us here, you are called to. So do not neglect your own spiritual well-being and development, and join in as best you can with any of those spiritual offerings that are available to you, especially coming together as brothers, praying the rosary, which is a common prayer, being present in your parishes. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for those kind words, Canon. I'm sure it'll be an inspiration for everybody coming back in this afternoon. Lunch will be downstairs in the restaurant. It'll be served at 1 o'clock. Can I ask, it's 1:45 now, can I ask brothers if we'd be so kindly to come back for 1:45, a wee bit earlier than our schedule, but we've still got some more stuff to go through, and I'd like to make sure we have some time. Okay, brothers? So we'll see you after lunch. Thank you.